Well, all right. Hey guys. So in today's video, I wanted to discuss inflammation and how it relates to Crohn's disease, because inflammation in the gut is one of the biggest parts of Crohn's disease, right? The inflammation leads to gut damage, which leads to complications like, in my case, abscesses, which are one of the most painful things you can ever experience in life, I would argue. And I want to make a separate video about that on another day. But yeah, I wanted to talk about controlling that inflammation and what I've found in terms of natural remedies to be the most effective. So I would say a lot has to do with supplements, but it also has to do a lot with being careful with your diet, as well as your routine too, and making sure that you're taking the right steps to take care of yourself. Anyways, let's get into the points I want to make. All right, so the first thing I wanted to talk about is foods to avoid. You definitely want to avoid processed foods because those are quite disruptive to the gut and can definitely cause inflammation. I don't know, like fast food, I would argue, food that comes in a box. When you look at the ingredients list and it's like a laundry list of like 300 different ingredients, I found those types of foods and like seed oils, like these are all definitely foods to avoid and seem to always cause me problems. I find eating out at restaurants to be tricky because I never know when they're using ingredients that might irritate my gut. For me personally, I have issues with dairy and gluten and even like grains, it seems like. But this might not be the case for you. But also, I never know what kind of oils they're using. Sometimes very often they use seed oils for cooking, which also, disrupts my gut. So for me, I avoid sugar and carbs because I find that both of those, at least in higher amounts, causes my inflammation to go up. I think, I could probably tolerate a little bit of it, but personally, I try to just stay away from it. I'm doing more of a keto diet, which I'll get more into once I talk more about what I do eat in terms of diet. This might be different for you because some people can actually tolerate dairy. I think gluten's like kind of a major problem for a lot of people, though, as far as I know. But of course, it's always good to test yourself, have a little bit of these things and see how you feel. Actually, one thing I also have to say is that I avoid nuts and seeds since those are harder to digest. Is another thing I wanted to add to that list. So I wanted to talk about what I do actually eat. So mainly right now, I'm sticking to mainly a carnivore style diet with a bit of veggies. So mostly carnivore. I guess you could say it's keto, but it's more so on the side of carnivore because I would say it's like a 75% meat and 25% veggie kind of diet. So with meat, it's pretty much any type of meat as long as it's not processed meat and it's not deep fried. I usually just cook it in a healthy oil. It could be like coconut oil or avocado oil or olive oil. And I have eggs as well. Lots of eggs. I just find they're a really easy snack to eat. And I'm actually cooking some right now. And for veggies, I usually have some cruciferous veggies. So I'll have a bit of broccoli or cauliflower or like Brussels sprouts. But also like dark leafy greens are pretty good too. I feel like I need to incorporate more of that into my diet. Maybe like spinach or kale or something. They should be pretty good. But yeah, and also like in terms of carbs, I do have a little bit of carbs during the day in the form of blueberries. I have a little bit of blueberries kind of more so towards the end of the day because I find when I start having sugar, I just kind of want more and more. So I try to keep that under control. Yeah, and I feel like just having a little bit of carbs really helps me stay on the track better. Because if I have no carbs, I always end up craving some, and I feel not that good after a while. So, I think finding a way to incorporate just a little bit of fruit, I think blueberries are probably the safest option from what I've heard if you have Crohn's disease or inflammatory bowel disease. So that's what I'm sticking with. And seems to be working out pretty well for me. I had like 3 last night. I didn't really feel bad. So, yeah. But I think the important thing to note is to not have too much, just to have a little bit. But that way, it helps you stay on track. Because if, let's say, you're not let's say you're not eating any carbs and then you suddenly really crave some and then you eat like a pizza or something like that, then that would be really bad. So I think it's about, if you are going to eat a bit of it, make sure you're choosing something that's a healthier option as opposed to, and something that'll be better for you as opposed to something that's going to really damage your gut or make your symptoms worse. Okay, so I wanted to talk about the supplements that I take now. Because I feel like the supplements actually make a big difference in terms of my inflammation. Because without the supplements, and if it was just diet alone, I think I would still struggle with my gut health. So yeah, so the supplement that I found to be the most helpful, I think, in terms of reducing my inflammation has got to be vitamin D. I take around 30 to 40,000 international units a day, maybe even higher, maybe even 50 for the day. But I usually take it like kind of split up around every like 3 to 4 hours or so. I'll take 10,000. So I'll split it up throughout the entire day because I find, inflammation can kind of go up and down. So sometimes, like if I take it all in the morning, I might need it later on in the day instead. So yeah, I'll usually, like today I started out the day with 10,000 around 9 a.m. and I took another 10,000 around 12 a.m. or 12 p.m. I should say. And then like around 3 o'clock and then 6 o'clock. And that's kept my inflammation low. I also take it with 400 milligrams of magnesium glycinate or biglycinate, which is the one I can get here. All right, so I did want to mention this morning I took 200 milligrams of magnesium biglycinate, and I paired that with the 10,000 international units of vitamin D that I normally take, and it made a pretty significant difference in terms of lowering my inflammation and making me feel better. So I think it's a good idea to spread out the magnesium throughout the day, maybe have 200 in the morning and then 200 in the evening, because I feel like, getting it in your system earlier in the day will help the vitamin D do its job in lowering your inflammation. And also because it can kind of cause a laxative effect, it's not really a good idea to take too much at one time. So I find for me, 200 in the morning and then 200 in the evening. Otherwise, I will be running to the washroom. I mean, I still had to go, but it did. It's better to spread it out. Also, I take vitamin K2 alongside the vitamin D, and that's also like 3 to 4 pills a day. Because I think they recommend taking one vitamin K2 pill, which is typically around 100 micrograms or 125 micrograms for every 10,000 international units of vitamin D. So that's a good practice as well, just to keep the calcium out of your veins and to get it going into your bones, because having a higher dosage of vitamin D also causes you to absorb more calcium. So the next supplement I wanted to talk about after vitamin D and magnesium is the fish oil. So I take this wild salmon and fish oil omega-3 supplement, and I take around 2 to 3 of those pills a day. Right now I'm taking 3 because honestly, I think the omega-3 amounts in my body are quite low. So it's all about the omega-6 to omega-3 ratio, apparently, from the research I've done. And because a lot of foods we eat are high in omega-6, but there's not very much foods we eat that are high in omega-3. So the more omega-3 that you have, the more it should get in your cells, and overall over time should help you reduce your inflammation levels. But also, I noticed taking it throughout the day, it does bring my inflammation down every time I take it. So that's another one I try to spread out throughout the day. But for fish oil, I find it's more effective in the evening. I find it makes me a bit more tired personally. So like even at night, I find that my inflammation can spike sometimes. I did want to mention that at night previously, I was kind of having issues where my cortisol levels would be quite low, which is something that apparently just normally happens. But basically, my inflammation was high at night, and it was scary because I would have all these digestive issues at night and pain. So luckily now it's really gotten a lot better, and I think that's due to me, focusing on eating foods that are healing my gut. Like mainly carnivore. I think being able to stick to that has been helpful. But also, just taking the vitamin D and magnesium and the fish oil. I think over time, I guess the fish oil has probably been helping reduce my inflammation too. It's kind of hard to quantify all of this stuff. But it's gotten better since I've been doing all these different things to heal my gut. And I found, I was just going to mention this because if you're having the same sort of issue, I would say at night, fish oil could be something good to take. I feel like it's pretty easy on the digestive system and would help lower your inflammation. At least that's what I found for me personally. I found it helped me feel better and then sleep better. Yeah. Actually, one thing I also wanted to note is that with the fish oil, there was one that I bought before, but it had this lemon flavor added to it. I think it was to stop the aftertaste, but I found personally for me that I reacted to that natural lemon flavor that they added to it. So I had to buy one without that. And then it worked way better for me. Make sure to get the ones without the clear bottles, because I think the clear bottles can lead to sunlight getting in, which can cause the fish oil to go rancid, I've heard, and make sure it has a proper expiry date. Well, that's really all I have to say in terms of like what's working for me currently with reducing my inflammation. And I hope it's helpful for you guys, because I know, preventing the inflammation, aka avoiding bad foods, healing up the gut, sticking to good foods, and taking the supplements to keep the inflammation down overall. I think these are all pretty important parts in terms of recovering from a disease like this, especially if you're going a natural route like me, because I just want to master my body. I don't want to be tied to medications for my entire life, I want to be able to be the master of this and be the master of my own destiny. And I just want to be able to help people out too. So anyways, in the future, I want to make a video talking about dealing with abscesses, since that's such an important thing, I think, because it's such a painful and debilitating thing. But I'm actually getting a pretty good hold on mine right now, which I'm pretty happy to say. Anyways, but that's for another video. If you found the video to be helpful, make sure to hit like and subscribe, guys. I would really appreciate it. You guys can click up here to check out one of my recent videos. All right. Thank you guys all so much for watching. And stay healthy and take care of yourself, okay? I appreciate all you guys watching, and I hope that you guys are all doing great.